Greetings and salutations, my birders, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, Susawa-san had to take the seat of the defense attorney because her friend has been convicted of murder. Convicted, or is that another word? Anyways, she's on trial for murder, and the victim of this case, one Miss Giselle Brett. The murder of the first case of the first case, yes. Now it's up to us to find our friend's innocence. What we're doing. Alright, we're trying to figure out why she was holding the knife. Because Inspector Hosonaga and Soseki-san saw her holding the knife above Miss Brett's lifeless or dying body, and they all assumed that she was stabbing multiple times, which we have proven is false because the autopsy report has declared that there's only one stab wound.
So, why did Ray pull out the knife? Ah, yes. Going for the juggler. Him? What does father mean by that?
Gosh, those sorts like itself straight. I keep like slouching like a freaking hunchback. It's not great. Let the court hear your answer then, counsel.
The truth is, I really don't know. But I have to come up with a plausible reason here, or we don't have a case. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could save her life. According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant. That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury. Indeed! Giving her the time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer. The point is, being a medical research assistant, Membani-san was compelled to act when faced with the wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. Tishanha, did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Indeed.
Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here? Your Excellency, if I may.
Speak, witness. I should really drink like a liter of water before I start pursuing.
I would like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the yokel defense counsel, I mean. Slipshod? An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion.
Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly.
Witness testimony. Forensic medicine primer.
Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Is what you just said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Yes. Think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed. Oh, I see.
Ha! This is why yokels should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it.
Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled a blade out of a wound, so... Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit. Father, is it true what they're telling me? Yes. It's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways. But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal from its breath? I don't know. Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... Could my friend actually have... Susato! Yes? Pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here. Ah!
Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify an issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards.
I understand. Believing your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard.
Do you really think we had that easy?
Man.
Cross-examination. Forensic medicine primer. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding.
Hold it!
You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean if you use due care and attention, it would be alright? I wouldn't have thought this needed spelling out, really, but... The blade is like a stopper for the wound. Remove it, and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You just can't do it. Oh, well, thank you for such a thorough explanation.
You see, Counsel? When you act while thinking, the result is a bloodbath.
Back to the witness testimony, please.
That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know.
I just want to double check the... Shoes. Okay, I thought that was like cloth. Multiple masks. Well, she's hygienic.
Don't see any suspicious footprints by the edge.
Hold it!
In that case, there's an obvious explanation here. Which is... Clearly, the defendant, Ray Membami-san, does not possess an ounce of sense.
Not helpful.
What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba? I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense.
Wow, really going for the insanity plea? That'll go over well.
Well, I thought it would be better than labeling her as a murderer.
I don't know, young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it.
Careful, Counsel. A lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing.
Oh dear, that recoiled on me rather badly. That's life, I'm afraid. A lesson everyone must learn. Hopefully, you can see now that this is really basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Membami-san would certainly have been aware of it. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife out from the pull the knife from the victim.
Hold it!
But the defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground, bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently. I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally. Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it? Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views. Oh dear, perhaps I'm letting my male persona take hold a little too much. Well, I have managed to convey the basics now. Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim.
Hold it!
Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Membami-san's nature to do something so awful. But she had both motive and opportunity. That's very hard to argue against. But you don't know the defendant.
Objection! And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law.
Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument. No feelings.
With this, fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused.
So do I.
Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motives, please.
Ah, yes. Miss Brett was in many ways the sworn enemy of Membami-san. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
Hold it!
Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Membami-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Mamami-san's abilities. Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point. This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. If Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it. Susharo, it's at times like these when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals. The fundamentals? Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it? Of course, but I've been through the court record dozens of times already. I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail, too. Ah! I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom. So if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help you. Examine the evidence in the court record? It's an idea, certainly. What should I do?
I know what to do. I'm not gonna refresh this.
Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san were always turning evidence over and over in their hands. Yes, I need to examine things in great detail with A. Ah, by the look in your eyes, I see it's coming back to you. Go through the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. You may just find a clue. Yes, I'll do it straight away. If we take off the pen's lid,
Nothing but ink, huh?
now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we?
This wasn't a pen. It was a syringe.
This must be a little reservoir that holds the ink. Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up through the nib. Is something wrong, Father? Just that there doesn't appear to be any ink in there at all. Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose.
The details of the fountain pen have been updated in the court record. A fountain pen bearing the initials RM that has a small reservoir inside into which ink can be drawn. There is a very small amount of liquid still inside. Can I look at the liquid? Nope.
There's some sort of emblem here. Look. But isn't that Yume University one? It must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply that the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray.
These of the fountain pen have been updated in the court record. In fact belong to Ronnie.
The RM initials are very clearly engraved here. And the fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message too. To identify the killer, you mean? I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case. Launches England returnees tell all. Is this the interview with you and Soseki-san? This is the interview with you and Soseki-san. Is it, father? It looks as though it was quite an exchange. Yes. He became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand cry-chopped me on the neck. I do hope you weren't hurt.
But what about this article about a bicycle? It could be a screaming deal.
This is a newspaper from Soseki-san. There seems to be an important article up on the back page as well. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. From Yume Medical Research? Father, isn't that your lab? What the? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen? It's this morning's paper that Soseki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know? As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information? Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there? It's a highly toxic poison that we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I put Ray in charge of the project. Ray! She was managing it? If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow. I don't believe it. We need to read this article very carefully.
The article about the poison has been entered into the court record. An article about poison that was stolen from our laboratory at Yume University. Even my father, who is responsible for the lab, knew nothing of this incident. Do I have to go examine that part now? Ah, okay. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume on 11th August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Deadly in tiny quantities. Even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Why is the poison being developed? Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. Wait, contraction of pupils? Pupil constriction was observed in the victim's both eyes! She was poisoned! Okay, now I do this. What do I present? Let's not forget that this young student did have a motive for killing the victim. Do they want me to present the pen? I don't know what the contradiction would be. Because we just got the poison article. God, our room feels like 30 degrees right now. I think it will be this, but I just don't know what I would present. Maybe I'll get a hint like at the end. Hopeless can find through a crack. Fundamentals. Already know what to do. I don't think she would assume that Miss Brett was poisoned.
Objection! Really?
No. There is one possibility. One really good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound. What?
Ha! The Yoko not only has a poor grasp of the law, but is also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified?
It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yume University.
Objection! The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case.
But
Prosecutor Ouchie, you will let the defense speak.
But newspaper article. The court cannot rely on the kind of heresy those wretched publications carry.
Oh, hearsay, not heresy.
Counsel for the defense. I am going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion.
Your Excellency!
yes, of course. Thank you. Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says, deadly in tiny quantities. The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting? If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Mamami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. What?
Objection! This is complete and utter nonsense!
Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny the possibility.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhaging.
Yeah, it's just hemorrhage, right?
Was hemorrhage. The word poison appears nowhere in the document.
Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold.
Objection! Oh, please! This is clearly just desperation. The weasel's last breaking of wind. Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway.
In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense.
Exactly! Well put, Inspector! On what ground does she do it? Yokel?
Why did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. What?
You can't possibly!
From your expression, counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system.
I was gonna say society.
The court demands evidence.
Yes, Your Excellency. I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times, from my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
In that case, counsel, you will present the proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article?
Take that!
Post-mortem report.
I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the post-mortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis, pupil constrictions, was observed in the victim. Ah! Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please, do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that is an unusual symptom of death.
Well...
Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual, yes.
What are you doing, you yokel detective?
In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, ending with acute constriction. contraction of the pupils prior to death.
What?
If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely, yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt.
Okay.
Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree, this is very compelling evidence.
You! Yoko student and Yoko professor!
I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions.
No!
Eugene Mikotoba,
Yes, Your Excellency.
I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in the newspaper, please.
It pains me to have to admit it, but I'm afraid I don't know.
You don't know?
The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft.
Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of the theft are unfounded?
No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say.
Ha! Listen to the bumbling and academic. Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads it in the newspaper.
I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision. Father,
A pitiful situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students, rather than allowing them off on killing sprees.
that's totally unfounded. None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault. Ray,
Bobby-san, you stand accused here. Outbursts like this would not be tolerated.
but it was me. I was the one who knows that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day.
What?
So you knew. I'd been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Joseki-san were interviewed together for a newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount, it was. Why didn't you let me know immediately? I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So, I decided to try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. The thief? You don't mean... Yes, of course. It was that dainty Englishwoman.
Miss Giselle Brett.
That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool in the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me, as if she knew she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then she suddenly got to her feet before falling onto her knees in front of me, then collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they'd shrunk to tiny pinpoints. I don't believe it.
In other words, you realized that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison.
My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips whilst I'd been with her, which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of the knife in her back.
And that train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade.
Yes, if the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have had chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time.
Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here, in this courtroom now.
Objection! Your Excellency, do not be deceived! The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, Membami-san, if that is the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed?
Oh, well,
You have no answer, because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge.
Objection!
but you have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you?
Oh? I have evidence. And it is very much conclusive.
What's the prosecution counsel up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm almost sure of it.
You will produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Ouchie.
Perhaps some praise is due, young Yoko student.
What?
I had imagined there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you brought this on yourself.
So you're hiding evidence? Who took this picture?
What the?
Can more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable. This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature. For it shows the precise moment that Membami-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back.
No, that's not true. No. I don't believe it.
Ah!
Order! 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 Counsel for the defense. Was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom?
Perhaps his voice has yet to break. These yokos are slow of mind and slow to mature.
I'll show you who's slow to mature. Careful now. Susao is starting to show her face here.
It is often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely cognitive photographic print as evidence. The incriminating photograph has been entered into the court record.
I can't believe he had a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. Such a stark image. I'm genuinely lost for words. Wait a minute, I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph? Ray.
Objection! That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention.
Oh,
Objection!
that's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony.
Arg!
I will uphold the defense's demands. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that.
Pardon?
You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday.
That is super suspicious.
But there was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown.
Goodness!
Are we to understand then, counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the markers of origins, you nevertheless believed it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court? When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew that it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you?
Silence! You Yoko-steered and blabbering professor! What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses.
But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly, this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but...
The moment it was withdrawn? Don't waste the court's time with your ramblings.
Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene it captures is without doubt, the most compelling evidence presented in the court. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear.
Oh no. Susato, this is the time for you to fight. If what you've established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim. Yes, we just need to prove that somehow.
You have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces. And to rue the day you came up against Takasuchi Ouchi in a court of law.
If I can't determine who took this photograph, then the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it.
Well, counsel?
Your Excellency, the burning question is who took that photograph, and the truth is...
I assume it's the reporter that's following Soseki-san around. I assume if I answer I don't know, it just ends, or it's gonna penalize me. So might as well go if I have the answer.
This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal.
What? No, you can't possibly. But, as you so boldly claim that you can, please, enlighten us.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name.
How utterly underwhelming. Do you really...
I hate when you do that.
Do you really believe you could...
However, I am able to present evidence. The defense has a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity.
What?
Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer?
It would have to be the poison article because that just happened.
Take that!
The piece of evidence in question is this.
Or not?
I'm afraid, counsel, that when presenting evidence, you must learn to temper those wide nervous eyes. I'm obliged to penalize you for the lack of focus in both your eyes and your answer.
Would you care to squeeze your head in your hands again, counsel? To punish yourself for presenting such utterly irrelevant evidence?
Ugh. I'll squeeze my head as many times as it takes to win this case trial. Your Excellency, may I?
You may present another piece of evidence, but no more squeezing, counsel.
I'm just gonna take a quick snack break because I'm feeling a little peckish. I don't know. All this talking really drains my belly. Don't know how that works. Gotta mute the mic because it's really crunchy. Alright. Feeling much better. Would it be this then? Because it actually has a photograph on it?
Take that!
Oh, it was. Well, I mean, that both of them sure triggered. I am Icho, in my opinion.
What's that? The newspaper again? Ranks England returnee tell all. Returnees tell all.
Oh, right, it has broken glass. I'm a goddamn idiot. I forgot about that. Ah, man, I'm so stupid.
It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side.
Oh, yes, indeed. They had already caught my eye, as it happens.
Ha! What of it? A shadow of some kind? Presumably from the branches of a tree or the like?
There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you. Now, if you look closely at this photograph,
Good gracious!
yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph as too.
Objection!
Well, that tells us nothing. Ha! Yes. It's a shadow of some kind. Definitely. From the branches of a tree.
There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach council.
Yeah.
What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired?
The curious matching pattern that appears on both photographic prints is a result of a camera defect. Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs.
With the photographic device?
Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lenses must be scratched. And the scratched lenses causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device. In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera.
And, but there must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one.
Objection!
I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Ouchie, that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article.
A newspaper. Ah!
That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime.
What? What?
What?
Many more! I guess.
I see why you were called a Ranchus England returnee.
What are you yelling about? You've already testified.
It's many memo. I tell you, many memo. Many memo.
Soseki-san, what was that? Did you say many memo?
Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Raiten Many Memo. Yes, hounding me from dawn to dusk.
Ah, now that he mentioned it,
They simply spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy.
could that same reporter be?
I can't to left him. A notebook to write. There I am, stuck in the middle with Raiten Many Memo.
So, you're saying that this picture was taken by...
By Many Memo, yes. My lord, your excellency, Esquire.
Officer! Find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
As you say, Your Excellency.
Then, one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison. You will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's Medical Department for the task. Understood?
Meh. Many more memo.
To be continued. I'm shocked my eating does not get caught in my 13th August, 10:41 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants Antechamber 3. I don't know why I can't pronounce that. Judicature. Just say Judicature.
I'm so sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin. Ray. You have a strong sense of responsibility. I know. That's why you decide to shoulder the burden alone. No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. So I hoped to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence? That you'd stand by me to the last? I remember. And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato! I deserve it! No, in fact, throw me to the floor!
Man, geez, like kinky stuff. Okay.
No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets, like the dirty girl I am. I'm no better, you know. Oh! Even though, in my heart, I knew that you'd pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back. There was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susato! I'm sorry. After I stood here, and promised you that I'd stand by you, and always be on your side. I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. Oh, no.
Oh god, I have a bunch of avocados that are ripe. I should make guacamole.
I think the situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task. Yes, Father. That fact has completely struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray? Yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Oh, Susato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray. I was so scared, you know. When it happened, I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting in the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. It all happened right before my eyes. And you were the only people in the hut at the time. That's right. Just Miss Pratt and myself. There was no one else. In the straw hut that can easily be pierced by human hands.
This is one of the dumbest places to be considered like a locked room. Especially now we just proven that someone was behind us, behind the hut, who moved the wall.
So I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that. A great mystery indeed.
Is it?
Do the old Japanese people believe straw is like this invincible wall building material? It's not interlaced. I saw the structure. It's all vertical. If it was like weaved, I would believe a little better because you had to like actually pierce it. This is silly.
I still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up. It'll be alright. However it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you said you saw is true. Spoken like a true Mikotoba. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order. Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings.
I think my mouth is bleeding. I think I stabbed the roof of my mouth earlier when I was snacking.
The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing it. Oh, I see. Yes, without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin. Chemical reagent?
A reagent?
I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though just in case.
The chemical reagent has been entered into court record. A special indicator solution for a new poison under development by my father's team. It's been created in strict secrecy and exists only in my father's laboratory.
What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet. It's this newspaper article. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yumeyu Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. It was all that Englishwoman's doing. What? It was when the professor and Sasaki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swaned in, and without any compunction said to Professor Mikotoba, "Oh, Professor, surely your guest would love to hear about your work on that substance there."
Really? The state secret?
It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Sasaki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction.
No! You did not! You had the choice to say no!
So Seki-san knew about the poison? Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too. This... Many Memo-san. By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh, no. I don't remember the reporter being there. Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there. Oh? A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside.
This is still stupid.
So Seki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. Yet, he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this candid photograph. And then presumably he posted it anonymously to the police. Ah. Yes, that must be what happened.
Counsel! We've just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed to the courtroom at once.
It's time to steel ourselves once again, then. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo? Yes. Ray has put faith in me. Has put faith in me now, and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
August, 11:30 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1.
I hereby call this court to order as we reconvene to continue the trial of Ray Manbami. Prosecutor Aoki, have you summoned a new witness?
Before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share.
Oh?
What news? And why does he look so happy about it?
During the recess, with the collaboration of Professor Mikutoba's laboratory at Yume University, the police re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Giselle Brett's life.
Excellent! I admire your rapid handling of the matter.
Oh, too kind, Your Excellency, too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course.
I had the regent delivered to the police headquarters by Rackshaw, so would be there in good time. But judging by the man's swagger, I fear we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable. And counsel, what were the results?
This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of poison anywhere along its blade.
What? Are you sure about that?
I would stake the reputation of the police on it.
Arm of the reagent. The test is extremely simple. I could have made a mistake.
The murder weapon has been entered into the courtroom.
a small knife from the scene of the crime that was found in the victim's back. No trace of poison was found on the blade. Note, the blade.
In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed. Arrgh! Now, the prosecution is ready to call the new witness.
The newspaper reporter, who managed to capture a photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Very well, officer. Bring in the witness.
No trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, how could the toxin have entered the victim's body?
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Why would people lick pencils? I never understood that. Pens I understood. Pencils not.
Alright then, many memo of the Soyu News. What people call, journo. I'm what people like to call a journo.
What's a journo, Father? Do you know? It's simply a contraction of journalist.
Oh, well, that solved the mysteries. I'm there where the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch those scoops, so they're in print the next morning. They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news.
Oh, so, it was you who took this photograph, was it?
Well, well, what have we here?
I'm sorry?
Oh, race yourselves, people! Many memos says there's a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play, defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. The readers will lap this up. We'll set above the fold at 72 points in a 5-leg format for the morning edition.
Huh?
Right then, let's start with your name.
Oh, it's Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Next, what made you want to become a lawyer?
Well, I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose? Ryotaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see. I just borrowed Kazuma-sama's dream for a while.
By the way, my name is Takasuchi Ouchi. That's Takasuchi the so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear into every defense lawyer's heart. No, the readers won't buy that. What?
Witness!
Yes?
What this court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for the taking of this picture. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a journal if I didn't click quick when presented with a scoop like that, now would I? Sometimes stories call out to me, sometimes I have to chase them down. But either way, you've got to be fast. Fast legs to run with, and a fast hand to write with. is no good if you don't know it down. I always say. That's what I call my many memoism.
Many memoism? Ah, yes. I remember your face. We met the day you were interviewing myself in Soseki-san.
Yes, right. That was me. Many memo again.
But you were supposed to be going back to show you news office after our meeting.
But the scoop is, I didn't. Because that English woman's words had piqued my journalistic interest.
Miss Brett's words?
A criminal, left to do as she pleases, just because she happens to be a British citizen. It's horse dung! This country's judiciary is rotten to the core. The Supreme Court's ruling aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawns. Stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play. Anyway, I quickly jotted down those words she said in my many memo pad. Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all here. Here goes. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. A serious criminal going on some junket. The people need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. To get the woman's story so I could hammer her in the press. Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim scene portrayed in this photograph? Oh yes, I saw it with my very own journal eyes. From start to finish. Through the viewfinder of my trusty camera. Thank you, Many Memo-san. You will now give a formal testimony before the court. You will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death. And you know what? I'm going to call it a day there. We'll continue the testimony next time. So, we now learn that the pen belongs to him. His initials are on the pen. And the pen is suspiciously empty of ink stains. So, he is most likely a British spy. He assassinated Miss Giselle Brett. But we shall see how this case plays out. Until then, thank everyone who joined me today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!